Let me just ask you this, Simon. If Ranić fails at United on an interim basis, say he doesn't make it and it doesn't work out, and doesn't guide the club into the top 4 come the end of the season, would it then be right for him to continue to play a key role in driving the club forward in the boardroom?
Well, it depends what it looks like, Jim, because right now we've got the narrative being that they're poor and that they're scraping past Norwich and scraping past Crystal Palace, who, by the way, are giving most teams a game, and not just because they're my old team. And he's working towards building a different... He's a blunt instrument. He's a very strong character, Ranić. I think he will change a few people's mindsets in that dressing room. So if they fail to get into the top 4, but they fail to get into the top 4 for the right reasons, and by that I mean that the other sides are so much better.
Yeah.
That Conte effect on Tottenham has changed the direction because he's got a longer term position and has got a better starting point than perhaps Ranić has got at United. That's debatable. Whether Arteta keeps the momentum going, whether David Moyes continues with West Ham. If these sides are genuinely and deservedly better than Manchester United, but if Manchester United do it to themselves... Man United didn't do it to themselves yesterday. Wolves did it to Manchester United. And Manchester United didn't have the wherewithal or the unbelievable ability amongst this unbelievable group of players to overcome Wolverhampton Wanderers. So the answer to your question is, if they continue to be as poor as they are now, and they don't show any... They get knocked out of the Champions League by Atletico Madrid. They don't progress in the FA Cup. They finish 6th in the league. Then you look at the situation in isolation. But he doesn't want the technical director's job. He wants the manager's job. And he's made that clear, albeit rather subtly in his interviews when he talked about how he went to one of the RB clubs.
Wait, yeah, but if he doesn't get top 4, he ain't getting the manager's job.
No. That's the point that I'm about to refer to. So really and truly, he came with the guise of doing one particular job, and all of the media reported that it was really the technical director's job that he was going to be, or a consultant role that he was going to be having, a 2-year contract. Yeah. Now, it depends what he does, because it may well be that despite all our protestations about how good this squad looks on paper, that root and branch, it needs to be rebuilt and the culture re-established. I think this guy's got the personality, because I don't think he'll go down the... What we've got in football...
He's a cool dude.
It's people making excuses, people getting paid too much money, and it builds a character in players, a lightweight character that doesn't overcome adversity. And United have previously been able to overcome adversity. They've powered through. They've never stopped at obstacles. They've gone through, over, under, round them, or just over the top of them. Yeah. And now what they do is you get players coming out, and I don't really think Luke Shaw knew what he was talking about, because if I was a journalist, as we were saying in the break, I'd have wanted to have a deep dive into what he actually meant. What do you mean by lack of motivation? What reference is that, and to whom, and to how does that manifest itself? Because we're looking at it saying, how can a player possibly say it lacks motivation? And all the factors that I talk about, like the money side of football and this whining and carping about player welfare, builds a lack of character and gives an excuse mentality, and that's what you have. And whether you like it or you don't, what Luke Shaw looks like his honesty is also an excuse. Lack of motivation.
Yeah.
How can you have a lack of motivation to play in a Premier League match for arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world?
Yeah. Here's the thing, Simon.
Terrible admission.
You have to know what Wolves are thinking last night when they put on Adama Traore on 66 minutes.
They thought they could beat him.
And you think, they are going to go for the jugular.
They thought they could beat him.
And here comes the juggernaut. So he comes on. Now, that's the time that United need to show character. Stand up and snuff out Traore, and they didn't. Traore had a field day.
But the game pattern had already...
To his credit.
Game pattern had already been set. Wolverhampton Wanderers were outstanding in the first half.
Yes.
Like they'd already set. They'd already landed blows. It's like a boxing match, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was a war of attrition. They'd already landed several blows on United, and United were reeling under the fact that they were under immense pressure from Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah.
It wasn't getting it. So you get Adama Traore coming on, who can run and create a whole raft of problems for United. But United still should have had enough offensively to go and cause the problems to Wolves. But you look at it and say, there's a variety of things. I believe that Ranić will make a difference, and I believe that he would have made a bigger difference than what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Not because it completes my circle of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not being fit for purpose, because we saw where it was going. What we saw at Watford was a complete and utter breakdown and degradation of United as a team, and he's got to build that back up again. Now,
you still think it'll be fourth? You said yesterday. You said yesterday they'd beat Wolves.
I think Danny said they beat Wolves. I asked Danny if he beat Wolves. I thought that they would get a result against Wolves. I wasn't sure what that result looked like. I didn't give them a commitment to what the game would go, which way it would go. No.
Fence sitting.
Do I think that they deserve to be fourth? No, I don't think they deserve to be fourth. Do I think there's a distinct possibility they will get to fourth? Yeah, because I'm not sure that Tottenham and Arsenal, with their current momentum, will continue.
There's no evidence of that.
No, but
Tottenham are flying with Conte.
But how you win a game doesn't matter as long as you win the game. And United, up until this point, have been unbeaten. They've had one game. Okay, they were crap against Newcastle, right? And they weren't really great against Burnley, but they came away with results.
Simon, they beat Norwich, they beat Burnley, they drew with Newcastle.
Okay, but with the greatest respect in the world, there's no God-given right to win any game in Premier League football.
This is Manchester United. You constantly go on about the biggest club in the world.
Was Manchester United. This is Manchester United in image, but not in substance. And it's going to take somebody being given a little bit of time that has the capability. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was given the time, but he never had the capability.
We need to take turns at giving each other voices a rest.
Yeah.
Is there any substance in this? I'm determined to read this out. Simon, Wolves fan, thanks for this morning. What do you make of this? Guys, is some of this down to culture? Our Wolves team, like Ruben Neves, he's a family man. Moutinho, Johnny and others, regularly seen in a local village in the outskirts of Wolverhampton. I chatted with Connor Cody the other day at a cafe. He picked up the drinks. We see our players. They live around us.
Possibly.
But they don't have the pressure on them that United players have got.
Possibly, but they don't, of course, but they don't play with a squad of 25 international players. Yes, of course, if you've got players that are indexed to the club and have a certain character, the motivation of footballers is greatly diluted, especially young footballers at times, by the amount of money that they've got. Money takes away motivation in every walk of life. I know I've made lots of money, I've lost lots of money. I know when my motivation was up and when it was higher, when you're trying to get something. So the balance is always about creating the demand, and that's why you say, to answer the question at the beginning, stop blaming managers. It's incumbent upon managers to learn the language of the dressing room that they're operating in. And that language is to concentrate the minds of multi-millionaire 12-year-olds to get them into a focus to play for the club that they're playing for. And it's a nice comparison to say that we see them around the boozers in the Black Country. But that's not the answer. The answer is every club has a unique focus. Every club has a unique set of parameters. And United are a very different animal. Because look at it, whenever United come on this show, A, the switchboard lights up like a pinball machine out of Tommy.
Yeah.
Right? And B, the expectation level of what we all remember United to be. Liverpool didn't win the league for 30 years. Some of these great clubs go through periods where it just isn't what it was.
What's the long-term fix to finish with at United? Is it Ranić in the boardroom and Pochettino in control on the pitch?
I don't know. I'm not a huge admirer of Pochettino. I don't think Pochettino is the real deal. I think on paper he ticks a few boxes, but to me he feels like a bridesmaid. Okay, yeah, you're going to win Ligue 1 with PSG, and you won the French Cup last year. But come on now, draw a parallel between those tournaments and the Premier League, and you'll see him come up short. I just think at this moment, here and now, is Ranić kicking backside and taking numbers, and he's going to do it subtly.
Yeah.
And I think you'll see bit by bit, irrespective of a dismemberment of his tactics by a so tactically adroit Jamie Redknapp, I think we'll find out that Ranić knows a little bit more than Jamie Redknapp does.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.